until Tuesday's news conference, when Kelley spoke and Prince Naseem decided to answer.
Listen, I'm gonna trying to create a nice job for you, putting my posters up with HBO. Believe me.
And then you could drive a cab or a 7-Eleven.
I've told you.
That's what's gonna happen.
That's what you gotta do.
Exactly what's gonna happen.
They've done their best to try to express their hatred for one another, but in reality, as you can see from yesterday's weigh-in, they amuse each other. They've had at least 2 long sit-down conversations in which Kelley describes himself as something of an advisor to the Prince, and clearly, to my way of thinking, Kevin Kelley likes Prince Naseem much better than he wants to. Tale of the tape for Prince Naseem Hamed against Kevin Kelley. 7-year age advantage for the Prince. 4-inch height advantage for Kelley. 6-inch reach advantage. They both weighed in at the featherweight limit of 126. Kelley's trainer Phil Borgia says, how's he going to get past Kevin's longer jab? How's he going to deal with his height and his reach? Punch stat numbers, Larry.
Hamed's punches are not that impressive, but he does have power. That's what he depends on. Kelley is more of a textbook fighter. You can see that the jab is meaningless for Hamed. It is meaningful for Kelley.
Rules of the bout with Harold Letterman.
Once again, Jim, the Prince Naseem Hamed Kevin Kelley fight is scheduled for 12 rounds. There is no standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown rule. Only the referee can stop the fight, and it cannot be saved by the bell in any round, including the 12th and final round. Jim.
All right, Harold. And Kevin Kelley will make the first entrance into the ring, accompanied by music which he has rewritten with lyrics of his own. There's speculation that once he gets to the ring, Kelley may have to wait a while. 50 professional fights for Kelley. He looked extraordinarily well conditioned at the weigh-in yesterday. Observers there oohing and eyeing at the Kelley physique, and the sign that he has worked himself to a frenzy to prepare for this night. Kelley's own element of showmanship now on the big screen, a series of Kelley knockouts, as he attempts to steal a little bit of the Prince's thunder before the Prince's own extravagant entrance into the ring. Kevin told us in advance that he would not leave his dressing room and march out to the ring until the videotape was completed, which may leave some here in the crowd wondering exactly what it is they're watching. But the boxing fans know. The blushing flag.
Kevin Kelley a little bit past his peak, but as Kennedy McKinney showed, when a veteran fighter is faced with a big opportunity and a big challenge, and if they go back to work at it, they can revive themselves.
And as you take a look at Kevin's record, you might reflect that he's fought 14 times as a professional in Madison Square Garden, but never here in the big room, always in the small room next door. He has fought here in the big room as an amateur while winning Golden Gloves titles in the New York region.
Is this a fashion show, Jim, or a prize fight? What do we got on this runway?
Hey, if we see Cindy Crawford, we'll know it's a fashion show.
Guys, remember, just
so silly, it's kind of great. George, you seem stupefied.
I like it. I really like it.
Well, it certainly
think
seems
boxing
for
needs-
much of the crowd, that's for sure.
This is what boxing needs, I'm telling you.
Well, if we want to get young people under the tent, this may be one way.
After she loved me, she'd never love another.
And she told me she was a splendid first to Marsha's lover. I mean, she wanted to see how cute.
She wanna look good.
I mean, she wanted to come and slim.
She wanna from the start to watch you.
I mean, she wanted to see how cute.
I think this kid has seen one too many Earth, Wind, and Fire concerts.
She wanna from the start to
The promotion has budgeted 10 minutes for this. Kelley and his trainer Phil Borgia have been told that it could take as long as 10 minutes. Borgia in the ring has the pads on his hands and is inviting Kevin Kelley to go ahead and warm up against the pads. The two of them building their anger and stoking a fire that's been burning for months, while the Prince dawdles behind the screen. Hector Camacho, Jorge Paez, Michael Jackson, and P.T. Barnum all rolled into one.
You know, when you're accustomed to doing things like this in your home and you come out and don't do it when you're abroad, it can mess with your psyche. So he may be trying to protect every little edge he has.
Well, he knows he owns London. He now believes he owns New York.
Believing is half of it.
George, do you think that a prize fighter's stardom is transferable the way a rock group's stardom is when you come across the ocean?
If you win, you're able to do it, but you've got to win, and you've got to win big.
Kelley moving and dancing and pumping punches as he walks around the ring. He offered to us that he thinks he's seen some of Hamed's opponents get distracted, get cold while waiting in the ring for the Prince to come in, and that he would not be a victim of that.
Well, twice he traveled to Britain to watch Hamed in person, so he is as prepared for this as anyone might be. Is this all smoke and mirrors?
Well, smoke. And I don't mean Derek Gainer.
Boy, he's really working on Kevin Kelley.
We are clocking this in our control truck. It's almost 4 minutes now, and you can see what Kevin thinks of it.
Come on out here and fight. That's what I like. British understatement.
And counting. And now for the first time, the boos begin to drown out the cheers.
This may be the end of Western civilization as we know it.
So, I'm glad we were designated to televise it.
Boy, I bet my mother's watching it at home.
He says he has music in his head. I'm not sure I want to hear it.
6 minutes and counting. The entrance of Prince Naseem Hamed. And it'll be interesting to see if all that survives as he continues his tour through the boxing world. Now watch for the flip. Back flip over the top rope. Or perhaps a forward somersault over the top rope. Here it comes. And he seemed purposely to bump into Phil Borgia, Kelley's trainer. And now face-to-face with Kevin, and the fisticuffs almost begin before the official introductions.
Boy, I'm excited. I tell you, I like it. I like it.
That is Cutman Al Gavin with a firm grip around Kevin. And Kevin turns to say, hey, wait a minute, Al. I'm all right. I'm in control of this. Referee Benji Esteves checking to be sure that Hamed has brought a mouthpiece with him. Shall we show you the record? 28 wins, 26 KOs, 18 of them inside 3 rounds. He has openly predicted to Kevin Kelley's face that he'll knock him out in the 3rd round. Let's go up to Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Frank Warren for Sports Network, in association with Cedric Kushner Promotions, presents 12 rounds of boxing for the WBO Featherweight Championship of the World. Sponsored by Adidas, with special thanks to the Ministry of Sound in London, official suppliers of this evening's music, taken from their dance album, The Annual 3. This bout is sanctioned by the World Boxing Organization, President and Supervisor at ringside, Francisco Barcasel. It is also sanctioned by the New York State Athletic Commission, Chairman, former Olympic gold medalist and 2-time world heavyweight champion Floyd Patterson. Commissioners in attendance at ringside, Rose Trentman and Melville Southard. First Executive Director, Tony Russo. Executive Director, Jim Posanello. Director of Boxing, Bob Duffy. Our physicians at ringside, Dr. Arnold Illman and Dr. Rufus Sadler. Timekeeper at the bell is Jim Borzel. The 3 judges scoring this bout on a 10-point must system will be Jose Rivera, Victor Salamone, and Eva Shane. And when the bell rings, the man in charge of the action, your referee, Benji Esteves. And now, for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, ladies and gentlemen, from Madison Square Garden, New York City, let's get ready to rumble! Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, wearing green trimmed with gold and weighing 126 pounds. His professional record an outstanding one. 47 victories, 32 by knockout with only 1 defeat and 2 draws. And he has captured 2 world titles. Ladies and gentlemen, from Flushing, New York, here is the WBO number 3 ranked featherweight in the world and former 2-time world champion, the Flushing Flash, Kelley. And his opponent, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing leopard with Adidas trim, he weighs 126 pounds also. And he also has an outstanding professional record of 28 consecutive victories without a blemish, 26 by knockout. And he also has captured 2 world title belts. Tonight, he comes to America to show the world he must be considered as pound for pound among the best in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, from Sheffield, England, the reigning undefeated WBO featherweight champion of the world, presenting Prince Naseem.
Everybody's out, man.
Okay, man, this is what it's all about. Remember, protect yourself at all times. Obey my commands at all times. May the best man win. Touch up. Let's go. Come on, guys. Touch it up. All right, let's do this.
Inquiring minds want to know, is Hamed a prince or a frog?
George, what's your hunch? Who has the psychological upper hand as the result of all that took place in the last 12 minutes?
Well, the Prince is doing his thing. When another fighter starts to partake in it, he's at a disadvantage. And that's what happened. Kelley started to go into the wrong kind of stuff. He didn't need that.
He got into Naz's world. It'll be interesting to see if it diminishes him in any way.
He started to trash talk. The next thing you know, he'll start fighting trashing.
They're both southpaws, although with Naseem Hamed, it hardly matters. He will whirl and spring in the air. He'll throw punches at odd angles from either side. Kevin Kelley has an outstanding right jab. First hard punch of the fight is a straight right hand by Naseem.
And the first jab was landed by the Prince Naseem. Naseem, he landed the first jab. You don't want that.
And he lands 2 more. Naseem fighting more conventionally in the first minute of the fight than many of us had been led to expect.
You don't want to find yourself, if you're Kevin Kelley, waiting to see what he's going to do. You got to get out there, establish yourself on the pure basics. Jab, right hand hook, bob and weave. You don't want to get out there waiting.
Kelley has missed with most of his punches so far. Hamed has been able to land straight right hands. Now Hamed switches to a conventional stance.
Kelley, it seems, has a bad right eye. He seems to react as soon as it's touched by any punch.
Well, you saw the swelling in the Derek Gainer fight, the bad swelling on both eyes in the Alejandro Gonzalez fight. Kevin Kelley's had 50 pro fights, and he's been in too many wars for the taste of most of his supporters. They want to see Kevin box.
So far, Hamed has beaten Kelley to the punch with both hands.
The good thing about Kelley, the fight is on no matter what. If it goes in the 6th round, he still believes that I can get a knockout. So he's willing to waste a few rounds.
First 2 minutes of the fight, Hamed is a puzzle that Kelley is unable to solve. But down goes the Prince on Kelley's first serious landed punch. A looping right hand put Hamed down. Second time in his career he's been down in the first round. Puerto Rican Daniel Alisea was able to do it too. Also in the first round, but then Hamed came back to knock him out in the second.
We all were wondering what was going to happen when he caught a punch from Kelley. We saw it.
Yeah, and Kelley believes in his power, so you'll never discourage him, even if his eyes are swollen, if he's cut.
Kelley just missed with a hard left hand. Hamed switches into a conventional stance. Kevin, for a couple of beats, was in a conventional stance himself. Now he goes back to his regular southpaw. Hamed switching from side to side as he faces the man who has floored him in the first round.
You gotta be focused for me. I need you to really slow your heart down. Water, I got that. Spit. You need to look at me. You need to really look at me. There's two things we gotta do.
Don't go looking for him. Just off your job. You'll hit him with your bombs, but keep your right hand. Now watch Hamed commit a cardinal sin in boxing, leaning back after throwing a flurry. Kelley was there and caught him. Can't do that with a top fighter. A little bit of hubris there, a little bit of overconfidence, thinking that it couldn't happen to him. It did.
Go, go, go.
CompuBox numbers show Kevin Kelley landed only 10 punches in the first round, but it only took one to do the damage which won him the round.
I think it was a wonderful feat by Naseem to be able to get knocked down and then have your opponent running from you at the end of the round. He got up and made Kelley run. Now they will get a good, powerful right jab by Kevin Kelley.
Strong jab. Backs Naseem up. Naseem in the ropes. First time he's been in the ring with a fighter of Kevin Kelley's class. The wonderful thing coming into tonight was you knew that anything could happen. And one of the things that could happen would be that the Prince was exposed as a fraud. His gloves touch the canvas. The count begins. The second knockdown for Kelley. So one knockdown in each round now for Kevin Kelley.
Yeah, I think the last knockdown was fluke.
Kelley was down. I thought that was a knockdown that Kelley should have been scored for a knockdown.
Benji Esteves waved it off and ruled it a slip. So it does not count as a knockdown against Kelley. Hamed's been down twice. The knockdown, the apparent knockdown of Kelley ruled a slip. Hard right hand inside by Kelley.
The Prince has not seen this kind of power before.
Well, but Hamed is supposed to have power of his own with his quickness, and we haven't seen the evidence of that as yet.
I think the mistake he made.
There we go, right there.
There's the power. There's the power you were talking about. And Kelley is stunned.
Hey, come on, baby.
And Hamed nods to him. Now we're in a fight.
Green break, no. Watch that over. Let's go.
And Kelley gets out of his boxing stance and decides to go to war. Now he settles back.
The more Naseem decides to be orthodox, the more trouble he gets himself into. So it's at his advantage to stay wild. Drop your hand, make this guy wait for you.
Kelley lands a hard chopping left and another. Naseem seemingly beginning to weather Kevin's punches a little bit better.
You can see Naseem is trying to get the rhythm to Kelley, and he's not able to do that.
Dropping his hand, switching from side to side. Now he goes back into a boxing stance.
5 seconds.
Round 2 is going to come to a close, having seen knockdowns for each fighter.
We don't see this very often in one round, a fighter getting knocked down twice. You saw that Kelley landed a left and then a right. The first one was a knockdown. The referee was a little late getting in as he got up again. But he did bounce up. Give him that. And they're flush on the jaw. Kelley like Junior Jones, his pal in the first fight, got a little cocky with his power, left himself open, and caught one from Hamed.
And that's what was ruled a slip right there, Larry.
It could have been ruled a knockdown. It wasn't. Turned out okay. On my scorecard, Hamed won that round because even though they split knockdowns, his knockdown was more convincing, and he landed more punches in the rest of the round.
Naseem is getting hit with punches. He's causing himself to be off balance by throwing his head back and forward. But the knockdown that Kelley received was a true knockdown, not off balance, pure power.
Well, Naseem breaks so many rules of textbook boxing, it's as though he not only hasn't read the book, he hasn't looked at the table of contents. Leans his head back, ducks from side to side, trying to get away from punches. Takes the hard left from Kelley there. And lands a hard right hand of his own.
That was power by Naseem.
Well, one time he's going to leap too often, and he may leap right into a Kelley punch, and that would be it. As Phil Borges said, if he leaps, he sleeps.
Kevin Kelley's got true power. He's real accurate with his straight left hand.
Oh, when you're fighting against a powerful, good boxer like Kevin who has good balance, you better watch your own balance. And bad balance contributed to that second Kelley knockdown of Hamed in round 2. Now Kevin starting to try to establish the straight right jab.
That was a good jab by Kevin Kelley that did some damage.
Kelley lands a left cross. Hamed ducking, sliding along the ropes. Not throwing as many punches in this round. Hamed seeming to have gone into a little bit of a caution state here as the result of the damage that Kevin Kelley's been able to do.
Yeah, it's the jab by Kevin Kelley that's been most effective now. If he just maintained that right jab, he can make this an easy fight.
And as we pointed out, that's another thing Phil Borges said. He said, my man has the better jab and the longer reach. How's Hamed going to get past that? In other fights, he's had his ways. But he hasn't been in with anybody as good as Kevin Kelley.
Hamed seems to see dropping his hands and there's not getting him any advantage. So dropping those hands with Kelley can call good night. You got to keep your hands up with a guy like Kelley.
Right now, Hamed seems less unorthodox than just confused on how to break through Kelley's guard.
They trade right hands. Kevin's was the harder of the two. Good left uppercut by Prince Naseem. Right hand lands again as well. Naseem starting to come out of his shell and get more aggressive again.
You want to say to Naseem, stop pulling back with your head, but then you lose the total fighter.
You wanted to say that to Muhammad Ali, too.
Yeah, but you lose the total fighter because they do what they do. It makes them so good.
Let's go. Stay silent. Sit down. Sit down. Good boxing. Look at me.
You're not listening.
If you don't use your jab and if you don't move your head, we're going to run into difficulties, and I don't want that. What we worked on to get this guy out of here was our tempo. Correct?
Gotcha.
When you're hunting a peanut, think what you did to Craig. Think what you did to Flat Top. Think what you did to Judah. Think all these things, how you let them hands go. Why all...
Bang, step back, bang, step out. You set him up. You got me? Just don't get in a war with him. Pick him off. You will gradually break him up off your jab. Yeah. You understand? Bing, bing. Bang, then come back with it. Got me? You break him up on it. He's had his fun now. He's had his fun. You start giving it to him.
So now it's Brendan Engel, Prince Naseem's trainer ever since he saw him on a schoolyard when he was 7 years old, asking his fighter not to get into a war. He wants him to pick Kelley off with his jab. Ping, ping.
That's not an easy thing to do. When you're fighting a boxer with a jab, you almost have to war. Get into a war. Kelley's got a good left jab, right jab.
He sure does. Naseem lands a couple power punches. Kevin Kelley lands a hard left hand. Kelley misses with the right and misses wildly with